Bomani Jones. Oh, he's now Bobo the Hobo. Guess what though? ESPN is also letting Bomani Jones quote unquote walk. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about ESPN dumping Bomani Jones from their network as their layoffs continue. This latest layoff from ESPN proves that their budget continues to dwindle down as more time goes on, with ESPN desperate for ratings to go up. It was clear that they had to lay off Bomani Jones. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. What is your reaction to ESPN dumping Bomani Jones? And I can get to say this because I said this 3 weeks ago when I covered Bomani Jones back in early July. I can say, I told you so. I told y'all Bomani Jones was going to get fired by ESPN. And guess what? He got fired. I know that he technically didn't get fired by the paperwork, but he basically got fired from ESPN because they didn't renew his contract. They let him walk. They let his contract expire, and it was clear that he was not returning. I don't think this is really a debate anymore. Bomani Jones was an embarrassing failure at ESPN. All those shows that ESPN tried to put him on, all those promotions that they tried to do for this man, and it ended up flopping disastrously. You guys remember Katie Nolan by any chance? A white woman, by the way. And they put her on because they thought that she would look pretty and that she was going to be funny. And guess what happened? She was a flop at ESPN. And now look at what happened to Katie Nolan. Does anybody even know where Katie Nolan is? I know I don't. I couldn't tell you where Katie Nolan is off the top of my head. That's how irrelevant Katie Nolan is right now. And the reason why I'm bringing up Katie Nolan is because it reminds me a lot of what Bomani Jones is going to go through moving forward. Because where's Bomani Jones going to go? He can't go to Fox Sports. He's not a market draw on there whatsoever. That would be an even worse fit for Bomani Jones at Fox Sports than it would be for him to continue staying at ESPN, because at least ESPN is woke. Bomani Jones, on the other hand, while he is woke, Fox Sports does not necessarily tolerate woke talk. That's why Shannon Sharpe was forced out of Undisputed. Well, one of the reasons anyway. The other reason was because he couldn't get along with Skip Bayless. Well, that's another story for another day. When you talk about Bomani Jones, his media career at ESPN was embarrassing. There were YouTubers out there that were garnering more views than Bomani Jones was at ESPN. ESPN was literally uploading videos for Bomani Jones and were trying to set him up for success, and he still flopped. Bomani Jones was still terrible at generating any kind of ratings. The only reason why people were watching Bomani Jones was so they could go ahead and trash him for his trash content that he was putting out there. This guy's a supposed comedian, but the only time I was laughing at Bomani Jones was when he was saying something stupid, just so I could go ahead and mock him just for his stupidity that he does every time that he opens his mouth. All those shows that he tries to put on, all those acts that he tries to act like, it honestly ain't funny. The only thing that's funny to me is how stupid somebody can be. And Bomani Jones is a classic example of that. Bomani Jones is a classic example of black privilege. They talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what ESPN is always talking about. And Bomani Jones should be thanking his stars that diversity, equity, and inclusion exists, because if it were not for diversity, equity, and inclusion, he would literally have been out of ESPN a long time ago. If a white man was performing at the level that Bomani Jones was performing, he would have been out a long time ago. Heck, I'll even go as far as to say that a white woman would have been out long before Bomani Jones. Bomani Jones should have been fired years ago. The fact that it's taken till 2023 for ESPN to dump Bomani Jones, that just tells you how biased ESPN has been in favor of keeping Bomani Jones. They only got rid of Bomani Jones because they got no choice. Now, if ESPN was any smart, they would go ahead and fire Kendrick Perkins right now for his horrible analysis that he often gives out for the NBA. I remember his take about Nikola Jokic and how he was talking about how Nikola Jokic only won the MVP because he was a white player, and that if he were black, he would not have been even in the conversation, and that the MVP voters were racist. Well, that's another discussion for another day. Bomani Jones, on the other hand, what was his most notable thing? Apparently, he did a show called High Noon. That show aired right after First Take at noon Eastern. The only thing that seems interesting about High Noon is when I can go ahead and smoke some weed at noon Eastern, or when some other folks can go ahead and do that, because high noon means time to get high at noon, and that's what smoking weed is all about. So that was probably the most notable thing that you could probably think of for Bomani Jones, aka Bobo the Hobo, because now he's unemployed and he has the intelligence of a homeless man, because Bomani Jones is not very smart whatsoever. He also did another show in the past called Highly Questionable. It aired around 4 p.m. in the past. That show sucked. It shut down. But the only thing that was highly questionable was how come Bomani Jones was even hired in the first place from ESPN, since he lacks credentials and he cannot draw an audience to save his best life whatsoever. And I know some people might be saying to me, how come you keep trashing Bomani Jones for not being able to draw an audience when you yourself are a small channel and you're trying to make a name for yourself out there in the YouTube platform? And my comeback to that is Bomani Jones should be able to succeed. I would hope that Bomani Jones would be able to do better than some small YouTube channel. I'm a small YouTube channel right now. Hopefully that changes within the next year or two, or even sooner than that. But Bomani Jones got to work at freaking ESPN. I may trash ESPN for being woke. I may trash ESPN for being in decline. But one thing that I cannot argue with ESPN is that they at least can build out stars, or at least they were able to in the past, not so much in recent memory. And Bomani Jones is a big reason for that. Bomani Jones tries to be really funny, but he actually comes off as a huge idiot that seems like he should be at home instead of being on TV. This man has the IQ of a homeless man because he always brings up everything about race. Every single discussion with Bomani Jones comes back to race, but Bomani Jones cannot garner in ratings whatsoever. And then there's the show that he did on HBO. It shut down. This was one of the reasons why I covered this topic about 3 weeks ago. It was so I could trash Bomani Jones for the show that aired on HBO. It was called Game Theory with Bomani Jones, and it was supposed to talk about critical race theory and talking about how blacks are at a disadvantage. But the only thing that seems interesting about Game Theory for Bomani Jones is how did he play the game over ESPN and how he gamed the system over them, because of the fact that he should not have been even working for ESPN to even begin with, because of the fact that he can't draw an audience, because of the fact that he's not funny, because of the fact that he doesn't provide any useful analysis whatsoever. He's not even a loudmouth like Stephen A. Smith. I might trash Stephen A. Smith for being a loudmouth and an idiot, but one thing that I can't deny about Stephen A. Smith is that he's a hard worker and that he's a media star. Skip Bayless, even though I trash him for being a troll, guess what? He's a media star, or at least he used to be. He's at least a has-been. Bomani Jones, aka Bobo the Hobo, has been a never been. It's that simple for Bomani Jones. Bomani Jones is one of the worst talkers that I've ever seen on television. Bomani Jones needs to get out of here. I'm glad ESPN dumped him. Don't even bother looking for another job, Bomani Jones, because nobody's going to hire you. I mean, I guess maybe you can go ahead and work for CNN since he seems to fit in really well with them, because you guys know that CNN is a woke political network while Bomani Jones is woke. So maybe he can go ahead and try to talk politics. Maybe he can try to entertain some people at CNN. Ha, right, as if anybody's actually watching CNN. Most of the people that watch the news, they go ahead and watch Fox News. I'm not saying that Fox News is a great news source to necessarily go ahead and follow, but damn it, Fox News is far more credible than CNN. I'm not saying that Fox News is credible, but the point is CNN is very discredible and their audience sucks too. They're kind of like ESPN. They're like the political network of ESPN, which ESPN is trying their best to do. I guess ESPN wants to be CNN because of the fact that their logo color is the same thing as CNN's, which is red, which is kind of pretty ironic in and of itself because of the fact that ESPN is actually very left-leaning and that they are representing the Democratic Party, which is the blue party, but they have red colors as the logo. Same thing with CNN. So I just find that ironic. As far as Bomani Jones, I don't know what's he going to do next. Maybe he starts a YouTube channel called Bomani Jones. Maybe he can go ahead and try to get some subscribers on YouTube and try to get some views, try to make money independently. Too bad nobody's going to watch him probably. Hopefully I'll end up having more views than Bomani Jones. There are YouTubers out there that are doing far better than Bomani Jones, despite the fact that Bomani Jones had far more resources than a lot of those YouTubers. And also, one final thing that I want to point out for Bomani Jones was that he was getting outperformed by a show called The Tiny Chef Show. Somebody's probably going to be asking me right now, what's The Tiny Chef Show? Well, it's a show that's aired at 1:30 in the morning. This is not 1:30 in the afternoon. This is 1:30 in the morning, and the channel is Nicktoons. There was a show called The Tiny Chef Show that was outperforming Bomani Jones on Game Theory with Bomani Jones. And that show was being aired at 1:30 in the morning, which is just mind-blowing to me. So you mean to tell me that a Cartoon Network on Nicktoons can perform better than a supposed comedian? Huh? Come on, Bomani Jones, you suck at your job. I don't like canceling people, but Bomani Jones, if you get canceled, I'm not going to sweat over it. Overall, though, I can't be surprised that Bomani Jones was dumped by ESPN. It's that simple. So that is why I am not surprised whatsoever with the news of ESPN dumping Bomani Jones from their network. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @Dustin_Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin_Tran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin_Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.